Hello, my name is Charles Kestner, and the topic that I am going to be presenting for my Locating Professional Resources for Teaching assignment is Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. Erik Erikson was a developmental psychologist who is most famous for his theory on psychological development. He was born on June 15th, 1902 in Frankfurt, Germany, and he died on May 12th, 1994 in Harwich, Massachusetts. During his life, Erikson proposed a theory of psychosocial development. This theory suggested that the personality of people changes and develops throughout a series of stages in their life. These stages have an impact on their social experience, spanning across their entire lifespan. According to Erikson, there are 8 separate stages. Each of these stages build off of the previous stages before them, and they then also prepare people for the future stages in their life. He believed that each stage consists of conflict that aids as a defining moment in their growth and development. If someone was to fail at dealing with the specific conflict, then they might not obtain the needed skills in order to have a strong self-image. If they do succeed, though, at dealing with the specific conflict, then they obtain the mental strengths that go along with it, and they can use these skills for the rest of their lives. This first stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development is trust versus mistrust. This stage takes place during the infancy, or from birth until around 1 year to around 18 months old. The most significant events that take place during this stage involves both care and feeding. During this stage, the child is completely dependent on the care that is provided by adults. They need help directly from adults in order to live. Depending on the quality and the reliability of their adult caregivers, trust may be able to begin to develop here. If the child is not provided with adequate care, then the child will end up feeling that they cannot trust their adults, and both fear and doubt will develop. On the other hand, if the caregiver does not fail them, then the child will experience feelings of both trust and safety. If a child is able to form an equilibrium between both their trust and doubt, then they will have the ability to obtain the quality of hope. Hope is when someone is open to experiencing things as long as they are cautious to any danger that might be present in that action. The second stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development involves autonomy versus shame and doubt. This stage takes place during the early childhood years of 2 to 3 years old. The most significant event that takes place during this stage involves potty training and movement. As children begin to learn how to control their bodily functions, they begin to gain both a feeling of control and a sense of independence to go along with it. If they fail at this stage, though, their lack of control can cause them to feel inadequate with themselves and to have self-doubt. On the other hand, their success will lead to them gaining feelings of confidence and security. Reaching a balance between sides in this stage can lead to will. Will is the belief that children can act with a purpose in mind as long as it is within reason. The third stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development involves initiative versus guilt. This stage takes place during the preschool years of children ages 3 to 5 years old. During this stage, playing, exploration, imagination, and examination are seen as important events. During this time, children begin to assert their power over their surroundings as well as play with other children. If they are able to succeed during this stage, then they will gain the feeling of being capable and having the ability to lead others and perform certain actions. When children are able to combine both self-motivation and a readiness to work with others, then they are able to develop purpose. The fourth stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development involves industry versus inferiority. This stage takes place around elementary and middle school ages of around 5 to 11 years old. Going to school has become the most significant event that children experience during this age. While they're in school, they pick up on important life skills such as how to read and write, along with how to work with others. If children are unable to succeed in this stage, then they will go on to doubt their abilities in the future. However, by succeeding at this stage, they will gain a belief in the skills that they have obtained along with feelings of confidence. Confidence in children is their belief that they can handle any task that is given to them. The fifth stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development involves identity versus confusion. This stage takes place around teenage years or adolescence between the ages of 12 to 18 years old. During this stage, people will find social relationships and interactions with others to be significant. This is one of the most important stages in Erikson's theory. They begin to focus more on how others view them, both physically and emotionally. If they end up failing this stage, then they will be left with feelings of insecurity and confusion about their future. Success, though, results in a strong sense of their self, followed by increased feelings of both control and independence. It is during this stage that people begin to develop their ego identity, which is their conscious sense of self, and it is developed through the social interactions that they have with others. The sixth stage of Erikson's theory involves intimacy versus isolation. This stage takes place in their early adulthood, from around ages 19 to 40 years old. It is during this time that they experience the formation of close relationships with others. If this is not achieved, then they will often experience a combination of loneliness, isolation, and depression going forward. Success, though, results in happy, long-lasting, loving, and meaningful relationships being formed with others. The seventh stage of Erikson's theory involves adulthood from ages 40 to 65 years old. During this time, people are mostly busy focusing on both their job or career along with being a parent. This stage builds towards the following stage in that they start to feel that they need to have a useful and meaningful life, and having careers and or raising children can build towards this feeling. If they are unable to succeed in this step, then they'll begin to develop the feeling that they are not contributing anything of meaning to the world, and as a result, start to feel worthless. However, success results in them having accomplishments that they can feel proud for. Care is the trait that is developed during this stage, whether it is for your children, your loved ones, your accomplishments, or your career. The eighth and final stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development involves integrity versus despair. This takes place during old age or maturity from around the age of 65 until their death. During this stage, people will continue to reflect upon the life that they have lived from the previous stage, and they consider whether or not their life was worth it. They have two separate paths that they can take here. If they did not live life to its fullest, then they may feel that they have regretted many of their past actions, and as a result, they have wasted their life. They may also feel that they have taken every opportunity that was given to them, and as a result, are closing out their lives with very few regrets and a very high level of integrity. As a final note, it appears that a large portion of the stages in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development occur early in people's lives, mostly while they are in school. Therefore, this early period of time might just be one of the most important parts of their life. It is for this reason why our jobs as educators are so important to everyone's future.